Bismillah, we stopped yesterday at, I don't know, 280 مسألة. وأما قولنا 280 وأما قولنا أن يتوب من تعمد ترك الصلاة حتى خرج وقتها ويستغفر الله تعالى ويكثر من التطوع. He said, as what we said, that the person who has left the prayer intentionally, he should do tawbah and ask Allah for forgiveness and pray as much as he can, what we call tatawwa, extra prayers. He said, because Allah says in the Quran, فَخَلَفَ مِن بَعْدِهِمْ خَلْفٌ أَضَاعُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَاتَّبَعُوا الشَّهَوَاتِ. After them a generation came that have left the prayer and followed their desire. They will be punished, they will meet severe punishment, except for those who repent and believe and do good. Those people will go to paradise. And also, وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً, and those who, when they commit fahisha, أو ظلموا أنفسهم, or they wrong themselves, they remember Allah and ask for forgiveness for their sins. Fahisha in Arabic language generally means an shameful act, such as adultery or anything that has to do with this kind of committing adultery, committing fornication, sex act, yeah, or saying, or
sexual saying.
yeah, that will be called fahisha generally. But fahisha can be also anything haram, because Quran says الشيطان يعدكم الفقر ويأمركم بالفحشاء. Allah says in the Quran, يا الذين آمنوا أنفقوا مما رزقناكم, spend from what we have given you. مما رزقناكم أنفقوا من طيبات ما كسبت. No, يا أيها الذين آمنوا, oh who believe, spend from what we have brought out from the earth to you. مما كسبتم, from what you have earned and we have given you from the earth. And don't follow the khabith, don't follow the bad, which was the worst of what you have earned, and spend it. And then afterwards it says, الشيطان يعدكم الفقر. Shaitan or scares you that you will be, worries you about faqr, that you will be poor. وَيَأْمُرُكُمْ بِالْفَحْشَاءِ, and he order you the fahsha. Fahsha here looks from the ayah to be stinginess, to be stingy, not to spend. So fahsha is not all. Generally in the books of Arabic language you find that fahsha is anything to do with lewd acts or shameful acts or lewd acts or saying. But it also can be general. So, and he says another proof here is فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ يرحمك الله وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. Whoever does good, mithqal of good, he will see it, and whoever does a weight of an atom of bad, he will see it. So he says all these proofs is all these dalils here show that if a person does good, it will outweigh his bad. So he will try to outweigh the bad things that he has done, such as missing the obligation prayer. He says also the ummah have agreed, ijma', that the voluntary action has will get some rewards, and the obligation has a reward, some of rewards. Allah knows how much for the obligation and Allah knows how much for the voluntary. He said, so one person does a lot of voluntary actions definitely by gathering all this, it will become as much as the obligation. So he said all the person is required here is to make his scale heavy enough to outweigh the scale of the hasanat heavier than the scale of the sins. And then he mentions here hadith which is narrated by Al-Hasan from Anas ibn Hakim al-Dabbi that he met Abu Huraira. Abu Huraira said that the first that Abu Huraira said the first that the people will be asked about the day of judgment is about their actions. Allah will say to the malaika, and he knows better, look at my servant prayer. Did he follow it, complete it or not complete it? If it's complete, then they will write it as complete. If it's not complete, then he will say, look at him, does he has any extra prayers? If he has extra prayers, then he will say complete his obligation prayer. And then everything else will be taken in the same way, such as fasting, as zakat. So if he has not completed the obligation, they will complete it from his voluntary, such fasting from fasting and zakat from zakat. This hadith is hadith Hasan. Before people, when they say hadith Hasan, before the hadith Hasan start, someone will read hadith like this and say this hadith is Hasan. It's nice, it does make sense, you understand? But it's da'if, because this hadith first, if you have realized that I say Abu Huraira said, I didn't say Abu Huraira said, the Prophet said. So first, it's not marfu'. Second is the narration of Hasan al-Basri from Anas ibn Hakim al-Dabbi. Hasan al-Basri is mudallis, and nowhere in this hadith he has said that he has heard this hadith. And Hasan al-Basri does so bad, tadlis of Hasan al-Basri is so bad. This hadith comes another narration as well, which is from Tamim al-Dari, and it's the narration of Hammad ibn Salama. And from Zurara ibn Awfa from Tamim, but Zurara ibn Awfa from Tamim al-Dari is unlikely that he would have met him. And it's the similar hadith as the hadith of Abu Huraira. So this hadith will remain to be da'if.
Majority says Hasan.
The majority say it's sahih. Yeah. First, the hadith of Abu Huraira comes in another narration that it is the saying of the Prophet, which is weak. But then the majority will say this hadith is not, they differentiate between one Sahabi say something and he doesn't say the Prophet, and they will say such hadith Abu Huraira will not say it from his head. He say a Sahabi will not say something like this from his head. You understand? They will say if he mentions something that is not possible that he has done ijtihad, he say people normally don't do ijtihad and say Allah will complete this from this. You understand? There is a possibility that this is ijtihad. Some Sahaba have done ijtihad more than, even in things more than this, and people have, they will say the day of judgment Allah will say this and say that, and turned out to be their own ijtihad from not the Prophet. Also, Sahabi, why the Sahabi will not say the Prophet have said, especially such as Abu Huraira. Abu Huraira was in his time like a muhaddith. He is the one amongst the Sahaba, the first one amongst the Sahaba, and very few Sahaba used to do hadith such as Abu Huraira. The other Sahaba, they will mention hadith in occasions, such as Aisha, they will mention hadith in occasions, like they will see something and then, or asked about something, and then they will say the Prophet said so and so. Abu Huraira, no, he was doing hadith such as muhaddithin. He will sit in the mosque and people around him, and he will say, the Prophet said this, the Prophet said this, the Prophet said this. So he was, his way of hadith is like the muhaddithin, and muhaddithin we see, they are very careful that they mention where they got the hadith from. Abu Huraira sometimes does hear hadith that from other people. In this case, if he hear hadith from someone that he doesn't know or he doesn't trust, or he will mention the hadith directly without mentioning the Prophet. Also, he says, narrated by Muslim, hadith of Ibn Umar, that the Prophet said, the salah, the prayer of a man in the jama'ah, in a group, is better than his prayer alone, 27 daraja. And also, the Uthman bin Affan said, and this hadith is in Muslim, whoever prays Isha in jama'ah, in group, in the meaning in the masjid, he is like the one who prayed half of the night, like he was praying half of the night. And whoever prays the subh in jama'ah, he is like someone who has prayed the whole night. So he said, this is the reward for the tatawwu', voluntary prayer, and the tatawwu' for the obligation prayer. So he said, like, there is a person can compensate, understand, by trying to do better voluntary prayers. Like this voluntary prayers, like he says, rewards can be added to rewards until you get the reward of the obligation that you have missed.
How are these two hadiths that you just went through?
These two hadiths, two and hadith.
Yeah.
He says, like, now a person tries to do better.
I mean, how is in Islam these two hadiths?
Of Muslim. Oh, this hadith is, there is nothing wrong with them. It's they are perfect.
27 darajat one.
Yeah, that is hadith is definitely, it's in Bukhari and Muslim actually. He just mentioned it from Muslim, but it's in Bukhari.
You know, I just wanted to ask a question pertaining to this subject. The 25 and 27, is it just different narrations, or is one stronger than the other?
From the Ibn Umar is 27. The hadith of Abu Huraira is 27, is 25.
And all the chains are the whole chain is...
Yes, 25 and 27, both of them. We have the thing that مفهوم العدد, مفهوم مخالفة. If the Prophet says, those people who says, if the Prophet says that if you pray in Jama'ah you have 25, it doesn't mean that you can't have more. I mean, مفهوم مخالفة is for those people who مفهوم مخالفة. But we know that many hadith you will find 3, 5. 3 doesn't mean 5, or doesn't mean only 25, not more or not less, or...
Okay.
This hadith also indicates that it's fine to pray at home for Fajr or Isha, for example.
It doesn't indicate it's fine that is you can pray at home. It defines it. First, you have to find out, is it an obligation to pray Jama'ah or not? This is something that we are coming to. Praying Jama'ah is an obligation. So when he says the prayer of Jama'ah is better than the prayer of not alone, 25 degree, then you will say, okay, so you will have at least 1 degree if you pray at home, which means that prayer at home is fine. But then there are hadith that indicates that praying at home is haram, such as hadith the Prophet almost went and burned their houses. You understand? People houses. So, because the only reason he gave, he said people who don't come to the Jama'ah, also like hadith, blind come to the Prophet and ask about praying in the Jama'ah. He said, do you hear the adhan? And he say, yes. He say, then you have to come. You understand? So if you put them together, prayer in Jama'ah is an obligation. Prayer at home is haram for someone who has heard the adhan, for someone who can make it to the mosque without difficulty. For someone who doesn't hear the adhan or doesn't have, or it's difficult for him to reach the mosque, then if he prays at home, he will get one reward. And if he doesn't hear the adhan, then if he pray at home, he will get one reward. If he come to the mosque, he will get 27. But if he comes to the adhan despite to the mosque without hearing the adhan, you understand? Yeah, so we are talking here always about the person who doesn't hear the adhan. But the person who heard adhan or is living next to the mosque, that this person, his prayer is invalid because he didn't pray it in the proper way. This is just, take it just like this, and then we will discuss it more in when we get there. He said, as for the person who have intentionally left the obligation prayers and pray only the tatawwuh to complete the obligation. You know, someone says, okay, since the tatawwuh has a reward and the obligation has a reward, it comes in the hadith da'if, for example, that the tatawwuh, the obligation is 70 times rewarded, 70 times more than the tatawwuh. You say, but if someone now say, I don't do the obligation, I just pray 70 tatawwuh. You understand? Or someone says, Umrah in Ramadan, like Hajj. So I don't go to Hajj, I go in Umrah for Ramadan. You understand? So he says, but if someone intentionally leaves the obligations and is praying tatawwuh, he said this person tatawwuh, this person voluntary prayer is not acceptable because he is not praying it for the right cause. Tatawwuh is another prayer, sunnah, yeah, sunnah or voluntary prayer, yes. So he said if someone is praying voluntary prayer to compensate for the obligation prayers, not that he has missed and he has made tawbah from, no, for the one that he is missing now and he want to miss now and he won't just, he said that voluntary prayer is not acceptable because he is praying it for the wrong reason, not for the right reason. He is praying it to compensate for the obligation. But Allah did never order someone to pray voluntary prayer so he can miss the obligation prayer. You understand his point? So in this case, his prayer, the sunnah prayer that he is praying or the voluntary prayer that he is praying, it's invalid.
Because his intention is to make up for the compulsory prayer.
Yes, for the compulsory prayer that he has missed and he made tawbah from and he want to do better now. No, he is like in a way playing with, either playing, even if he doesn't understand it, he is trying to change what Allah has made, ordered. Allah ordered him to pray obligation prayer. He is praying, what his prayer in this case called bid'ah.
Yeah.
You call it bid'ah because he is changing the religion. He is bringing something that is not from part of the religion.
If someone, like for example, he can wake up to Fajr,
yeah,
but he had this intention, if he got this option, like to pray maybe 20 rak'ah in Dhuhr, because he sleep up to 1 o'clock. So he said, always after Asr, Maghrib, I will pray 20 rak'ah and I will make up for that.
No,
Fajr.
if he says, if he is not, if he want to wake up to pray in time, or he prays in time the Jama'ah, but he missed, and say, okay, we'll pray as compensation now that you have missed the prayer. I will pray some extra prayers. That is, the religion have allowed him to do that. The religion allows you to seek to do good or compensate for your mistakes that you have, as tawbah, to compensate from the mistakes that you have done.
No, I'm talking about the person who does it intentionally. He
Yeah.
always stay up to 1 o'clock in the morning or watching TV or 2 o'clock. Then he goes to sleep. But he has got this intention. He will not wake up Fajr.
Yeah.
But he will pray maybe later on after.
When you say he won't wake up Fajr,
Oh.
he have the ability.
No, intentionally. He knows he got this option to pray 20 rak'ah later on after Dhuhr. So he will
then
never pray.
That's invalid.
That's invalid. That's invalid.
No, if someone,
So it's a lot of
the obligation prayer, he must pray it anyway if he wake up. If he wake up, if he is asleep, then he has to pray the obligation prayer. When he wake up, whenever he wake up, at any time he wake up, he
Even
does
going with the intention that he will not.
wake up.
No,
He
but
will not wake up.
you have to define it.
Well, person will go to sleep like this. This is not the best thing to do, but the person will go to sleep and he knows that if he goes to sleep, he is very unlikely that he will wake up. Still, when he went to sleep, it was halal for him to go to sleep. Huh? Like when he went to sleep, it was halal for him to sleep. He didn't sleep after the Fajr started, did he?
No.
I mean, if the Fajr started and then he has to pray, he must pray. I mean, if the Fajr, he knows like, okay, the time is going out. I'm going to miss the prayer of Fajr. There is no time left. But I'm going to sleep. When he doesn't have really to sleep, like he's not like feeling very sleepy or something. So in this case, he's doing haram because that time, what he should do is to pray. But if he slept before, he slept at 2 hours, 1 hour, half an hour before Fajr. Fajr is not due yet. And he is going to sleep. He knows that it's very unlikely that he wake up. But he is, at that time sleeping is not haram.
But he heard when the Fajr adhan.
Well, there is no adhan before time.
No. When the adhan of Fajr
Yeah.
was on time, he heard the adhan, but he had always that intention that he will not wake up.
Oh, then-
That's what I'm saying. You go sleep. It's not like in here. You don't hear the adhan and you don't have to put the alarm. Say in a country when there's adhan and you heard the adhan, but still you went with this intention that you will not wake
No,
up.
if he hears the adhan,
He is
Maybe
if he hears the adhan, then he must
He must.
wake up and go to pray. Unless he knows in this mosque that I am going to, they will do the adhan now, and then they will pray after 1 hour, and then he will say in this case, because he has already heard the adhan, he will have to go to sleep. Only I will go to sleep and then wake up before the adhan, and I will go and wake up before the iqamah. Then now the obligation, when he has heard the adhan, it became an obligation on him to pray in that mosque, and he must do everything necessary to go and.
So that sleep he was doing between there would be fine as long as he has the intention to attend the Iqamah.
Yes.
He doesn't have to go straight to the masjid when he hears that.
But because he should go, the adhan is calling him to the masjid. He can only stay there because he knows that these people will delay the prayer for a long time, like for 1 hour or something. So for that reason, otherwise the adhan is calling people. He say come, and he has to go straight away.
So how would you explain it to someone saying that it's permissible for you, even though the 1 hour gap, that normally you would go, but just because you say 1 hour they take a long delay.
Yeah, because he is not calling you to have some chat in there. He calls you to pray. And then from your experience now, you find that this person, when he calls you to pray, he doesn't do it straight away. He waits for an hour.
Yeah, but still, if the adhan it calls a person to the salah and he has to attend, then if we're being consistent, you would have to go even if they take 1 hour and they delay the prayer. You still have to answer it. I mean, I don't know.
You have to answer the adhan.
Yes.
The adhan is calling him not to chat. He's calling him to hayya ala salah.
I understand.
Yeah. But then now he knows, these people have either told him or from experience knows that when he gets there, you have to wait 1 hour to pray.
Sleep in the mosque?
That is your saying.
I don't agree with that.
You don't have to tell. You don't have to tell me what you agree with. What you don't. Says he's because Allah Taala says didn't make the sunnah so to be in place of the obligation. Said if he does it with that intention, then he is doing something haram, and therefore it will not be helpful at all. All this his prayer in that way will be rejected. It will not be acceptable. He says that is because he has disobeyed in doing his voluntary prayer, and the Prophet said, whoever does something not according to our matter, it is rejected.
He disobeyed in his farad prayer. He disobeyed in his farad prayer.
He disobeyed by doing voluntary prayer instead of like someone going to Umrah, not for doing Umrah to get reward for that, going to Umrah to miss the obligation, to miss the Hajj. If someone in Ramadan is going to Umrah, and then he didn't go to Umrah to get reward similar to Hajj, and the intention is that he goes to Hajj. No, I'm going to Umrah, so I'm not going to do Hajj instead of the Hajj.
In this point, yes, if a person died, he goes to, say, Ramadan, Umrah, and he died, does he have Hajj, or we have to make Hajj for him?
No, this person, if he dies, if he has never...
And he went to Umrah in Ramadan,
Yeah.
for example, and when he come back, he died in that period before going to...
Yeah.
He
Was he able to do Hajj before that?
Let's say now.
Never in his life he had been able to do
the first
Hajj.
time he had money, it was he had some money on time of
Yeah.
Ramadan, so he went straight away to
Yes.
Ramadan, his first Ramadan.
Yeah. If there was never time for him to do Hajj, then Hajj was never obligation on him, and it was never a loan on him. If it was never a loan on him, you don't have to pay his loan, because he has no loan to pay.
So because the Hajj hasn't been come yet, he's died, even though he's got the money now.
Yes.
It's fine.
Only if the Hajj passes, the Hajj pass.
It's a loan.
Let's say he came back and from that country, and he got sick. He got sick, and he has money, and he didn't do Hajj that year, but he died after the day of Arafah, after in Eid day. Then you have to do Hajj on him from his money, because Hajj, even though he was not able to do it physically, he was able to do it financially. And the person, if he can't do Hajj physically, he can make someone do it on his behalf. Hajj is something that you can make someone do it on your behalf, such as this woman said, my father can't go to Hajj. He was alive, but he can't travel. She said, can I do Hajj on his behalf? Yes, because normally ibadah, any ibadah, a person can do ibadah on your behalf, except where there is dalil that you have to do it yourself.
Sorry, in this point in here, can you, there's a lot of people in Saudi Arabia, and you pay them and they do Hajj. You have to pay one of your family, send him spend all that money, or just give it to a person in Saudi Arabia and he will do Hajj?
You can pay anyone who he is trustworthy, and he is not going to take the money, and he can do Hajj according to you know the way you believe is right. You can ask anyone to do Hajj on your behalf, but then when you can't yourself, you have to do it. You do it. You have to do it. Everybody has to do Hajj for himself, but when he can't, then he can ask someone to do it on his behalf if he has the money, but he can't physically.
No, for example, if I take my case, for example, when your father or your mother died, and maybe she had a bill, and you go to Hajj, can you pay, for example, one person or two person, he said, one do for my father and one do for my mother.
Yes.
For you, go and do this year Hajj, then go in next year.
Yes,
for your
in the same time.
At the same time.
Yes, other people will be doing it for.
You find some people there, and you pay two people, and you say.
Yes.
You know the example is given. You give someone money, you think he's trustworthy, you think he knows how to do Hajj.
Yeah.
And this man, he goes and plays a game.
Yeah.
In Hajj, yeah? you giving the money, is that your Hajj accept, that person's Hajj accept? The moment you give that person the money, whether he does Hajj or not, would that person's Hajj be accepted?
No, but the person, with the time you give money,
Yes.
if this person, you have done what you are supposed to do.
You're responsible.
You understand? You as a person, not your father who missed the Hajj, but you as a person who was supposed to pay on his behalf,
Yes.
it's not obligation anymore. This is not obligation on your father anymore.
Yes.
If you do it,
You take
he is free of the obligations.
Mukallaf, huh?
Yes, but now it's obligation on the people behind him. This is now their duty to do something. It's extra obligations on him to look after these people who have died and they have not done so. But you, by paying someone, your duty is finished. If this person turned out not to have done the Hajj,
Yes.
then he must pay it back. You have to give you the money back.
And if I refuse to take the money, then he's still on the responsibility still remains on him. Then
No, if he has not done the Hajj,
Yeah, you give the money to Hajj.
of course you can force him because you have an agreement
Yes.
that to do Hajj.
Yes.
You can say as long as the time is there, you agreed with him to do Hajj for this year.
Yes.
If this year is gone, the agreement is finished. And the money is still yours because he has not done what he is supposed to do. So you have to punish him the way he punished you by taking the money back.
So the agreement.
But this person who had to do Hajj, he's still not Hajj. His Hajj is not complete anymore. You have to find someone else to do the Hajj.
So that agreement is only for one Hajj. If you miss that Hajj.
Yeah,
Someone you trust.
yeah. It's better to always find someone who is trustworthy
Understand.
and understand what Hajj is, and then he will go and do it in the right way.
You have to check on him at the end if he.
No, you don't have to check on him.
You
I
won't
mean,
even tell.
you just have to tell him to do Hajj. You
He
don't.
will tell you, I've done it for you.
Yeah,
Finish it.
do
That's
the
it.
Hajj. I have done the Hajj. That's all.
Then you have to trust him. and
Yeah,
you take it.
finish. Yeah. If he is trustworthy, then you have to trust him. I mean, a Muslim is generally a Muslim is trustworthy. Someone who is in Hajj in Mecca, so he should be trustworthy. He said, if someone mentions what has been mentioned, what the narration that tatawwu', that Allah will not accept tatawwu' from the one who doesn't give, Allah doesn't accept the voluntary prayer from someone who doesn't do the obligation prayer. Like a businessman will not count his benefits until he has counted the capital. Like a person will not say, I have made any benefit,
To get
profits, until you see that the capital is safe. I mean, if someone buys some instruments, work with them for £100, at the end he makes benefit £50. But the instruments that he has bought are damaged. You have to buy an instrument or more with another £100. So he has never done anything. He has not been like you buy a car, you drive people to somewhere, and they give you £1,000. But the car you bought it for £2,000. By the time you reach there, is gone. So you have not made any benefit. If you continue doing this, you will. So he said there is a hadith that says that Allah will not accept the tatawwu', the voluntary prayer from somewhere. No, this hadith is invalid. He said some people mention this, so they are mentioning this. What they are saying, these hadith are saying that if you don't finish the obligations that you have done, that you have missed before, then Allah will not accept your voluntary prayer anyway. This hadith is people made it just to support the madhab.
This week.
It's invalid. He said it's the narration of Musa ibn Ubayd al-Rabdi, and he is weak. and Abdul Malik bin Habib al-Andalusi from al-Makfuf from Ayyub bin Khut. So Abdul Malik bin Habib al-Andalusi is a Maliki, very famous Maliki. He has his own, sometimes his own opinions. However, he was so Maliki that him sometimes there is no thing that Malik says that Abdul Malik ibn Habib al-Andalusi has no hadith for it. You understand when when someone is Maliki and everything that Malik says he has hadith for it, you will see like where he is coming from.
Do they lie by purpose or they just make up?
Well, if someone, you see, when you find someone Shi'i and always no, someone Shi'i for example, but all his hadith he forgets. We say he forget, but he all never forget and say Aisha is good. He always forget and say Ali is good. You understand? He makes mistakes, but all his mistakes are in one direction. And once you find the Maliki who make mistakes, but all his mistakes works for Malik, not for Abu Hanifa or for the Zahiris or for. So what do you say? Is it mistake? That's kind of weird mistakes. Abdul Malik bin Habib al-Andalusi, very rarely he contradicts Malik. And then when he contradicts him, he brings something, well, from the things that I remember that he says, where he contradicted Malik, he says the action of the Prophet, we take religion from the action from the Prophet, not from his saying. This is something that he contradicted the majority. He say the action of the Prophet are stronger than the saying of the Prophet. So if the Prophet says something and he does something, you should ignore what he says. Huh?
Is he trustworthy?
What?
This man.
Abdul Malik?
Yeah.
I just told you.
No, I mean in terms of forget when he talks about Malik, we can dismiss that because someone say I take from him when he talks about anything other than Malik.
If someone's lies one time, he is a liar forever.
Okay.
Abdul Malik, what's his name?
Abdul Malik ibn Habib al-Andalusi.
He was an intelligent man, yeah.
No, he is intelligent in this way. He is so. Also, one thing he says that he contradicted the majority. That okay, yeah, he says that you using water for istinja is not valid.
He might have a point there.
They use stone.
Yes, that's what he says.
Yeah. If you don't find a stone, then
He says you
I
use.
saw some in Algeria.
No. Sorry. It's the opposite. He say you can never use. The majority say you can use stones or water, alike. Yeah, but he says you can't use stone unless
use water.
there is no water. Only when there is no water.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No, this is what he says. Sorry.
Why? I thought they follow the actions.
So he says because the stones are. Allah says in the Quran, فَإِن لَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً. If you don't find water.
Stones.
Yeah.
Thinking.
He says like this. He says stones are earth, and the Prophet says the earth is tahor whenever there is no water,
Clever man.
not when there is water. But the majority say both of them can be used.
He has a point. A valid point.
Yeah, he's saying here is the only. It's only the two saying.
Yeah.
Either the stones can be used only no water at all, water as extra only, or he's saying. You understand? Since the majorities don't take his saying, then they're the saying of the majority is invalid.
Yeah.
Because if they came from if they say the same thing as him, then they would have a strong argument.
Definitely.
So he said this, the narration here, Abdul Malik ibn Habib himself, he is very, very untrustworthy. From al-Makfuf, this al-Makfuf is unknown to people except that every hadith that he is in is invalid. And also Ayyub ibn Khut. Ayub ibn Khut also, he's known on these hadith that are invalid, all of them.
Oh, okay. Three invalid.
He said if this hadith was sahih, which is not, then it is only for someone who does the tatawwu' instead of the obligation, like the scenario that we have mentioned, not for someone who misses the obligation and then try to make up later. Okay, and then he says the 5 prayers, the salawat al-mafrudat are 5. The 5 obligation prayers are 5. He says the 5 prayers, the obligation of the prayers for every adult, not insane, free or slave, male or female, are 5. The Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and Fajr. So this is clear. The 5 prayers generally are, yes, 5 prayers. Daily 5 prayers, not more. But then there are places where it has to be more, such as if you go to the mosque. When you go to the mosque, that is not something that everybody does or have to do.
Occasionally.
Some people go to the mosque, some people are far from the mosque, so they don't have to pray it. So like everybody has to pray 5 prayers. This is for everybody. He is at home or he is, except for very some occasions such as women in her menses, or. But generally the 5 prayers are 5. This is all year around, every day, for everybody, traveling or not traveling. So, and the Eid prayer also, it's like once a year. It's not something that occurs all the time. He says the Subh, the Fajr prayer is 2 rak'ah forever, for everybody, sick or not sick, traveling or resident, safe or in fear, time of fear. So that is true, except where except at the time where he can't do more. He can't. There is times where a person can't do 2 rak'ah. Let's say time when he is at a time of fight or fear so much that he can't concentrate on the prayer. He can't do 2 rak'ah. When we say 2 rak'ah, it doesn't mean he has to do ruku' and sujood. Just the intention to do the ruku', if he can't do it himself, that's fine. Let's say someone is paralyzed and he can't move at all. So the intention that he is going to ruku' to say Allahu Akbar, and then that in his mind, if he do the intention to go to the ruku', that is enough. But because that is all he can do. Also, Maghrib is 3 rak'ah all the time, in all cases, just like Subh, like Fajr prayer. It doesn't change. Also, we say 3 rak'ah with Ittaqullaha mastata'tum. You do it anyhow you can. Sometime, probably from all these 3 rak'ah, all you need is the intention or some words that you can say. Let's say if from Maghrib to Isha there is a battle where you are fighting and you are in the middle of the enemy, like fighting with sword, you can't concentrate much on doing 3 rak'ah. So you do what you can and you don't stop your prayer until the time is gone. Let's say Maghrib started. You understand? Maghrib started and you are fighting. Now if you choose to, you are fighting, like sword here, and there is 2-3 people fighting, how much you can concentrate? You understand? And then Maghrib have started. The best thing to do here is to delay the prayer until the end of the time. But because I can't, if I start and say Allahu Akbar Maghrib now, yeah, Allahu Akbar intention, and then I shouldn't stop that prayer. I have to continue that prayer, but I'm not finished. I am in prayer, but I'm not doing anything prayer. I can't do ruku', I can't do sujood. I'm just fighting. By the end of the time, when I show that the time is finished, this prayer, I have to finish the prayer before it's finished, before the time is finished. All I can do is I say Allahu Akbar at the beginning, and then just before Isha, I was hoping I say Assalamu alaikum, and then my prayer is finished, because I don't delay the prayer out of time. And all I can, this is what I can do.
Do you read Fatiha?
You can read Fatiha in this case. If you can, you have to.
No, I'm just asking.
Yeah, you can. You have.
Just say Allah Akbar,
You have
it's
to
not
do.
your prayer.
Yes. If all you have to do everything that you can. Let's say I am fighting. I say Allahu Akbar, and I am fighting, and then I find the gap. Then I continue my prayer. I don't have to say Allahu Akbar because I already said it. Now all I have to do is to face the Qibla and start finishing my Maghrib, because the fight is over. You understand?
It's like you started and you go all this time
Yeah.
to. If
Well-
you go in 20 minutes, you do maybe read Fatiha, maybe
Yes.
in 10 minutes.
Yes.
You do,
And the best thing here to do is to when the Maghrib start, don't start the prayer. Delay it to the last minute. If you see that now Isha is coming and the fight didn't stop, say Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum. Finished. The time is going. Finish. You have to finish your prayer before Isha. And you didn't delay it because you forgot or something, so you can delay it out of the time. No, you didn't forget. You know about it. So you say Allahu Akbar. Just the last 10 minutes. And you pray what you can. It's not what you can't. So that is.
And tayammum,
Hmm?
you have to do wudu.
No. Wudu tayammum. How are you going to do wudu tayammum? Let's say
Drop your sword.
they hit you on the ground, and then you fall on the ground. That is, you do tayammum then. But if you can't, you go on the ground and they kill you.
No, I thought maybe before you start the battle, you have to win wudu.
No, you don't.
Hadith?
You don't have to do
No, you
wudu
don't.
before the battle.
You don't have to.
Yeah, you
Why
don't
is
do
it pray?
wudu for to fight. Yeah, and then during the fight, if there is no wudu around, then you pray.
But maybe thinking you might die actually. So you say
No, some
better
people.
to die than with wudu.
Yeah. Some people they died
If there is
with.
water.
Some people died without ghusl in the battle of Uhud. Some people died. They have not even had ghusl, because when the battle started, they had to go and they had no. One of them he died on janaba. It's known to be called al-ghasil, Hanzar al-ghasil, because they say the malaika washed him. So he said, as for Dhuhr and Asr and Isha, that's for every resident, sick or not sick, in fear or in safety, it's 4 rak'ah. He says this is ijma'
For what?
about the Dhuhr and Asr and Isha. Well, we have so many hadith that mentions how many the prayers are. So many
Why did it
hadith.
resort to ijma here?
Huh?
Why did it resort to ijma?
No, he mentions sometimes ijma' despite him knowing the dalil.
Okay.
It's just a question of
Strengthen the point.
so many hadith. So you will say, okay, this is everybody agrees about this.
Oh,
Huh?
okay, that's what you mean.
This is the kind of ijma' that Shafi'i and Ahmed bin Hanbal used to refer to. And from this, people started ijma'. Everything that they don't know dalil for, they will say this is ijma'.
That's alright to say ijma in that situation, isn't it?
Well, it's question of you are talking to someone. Okay,
You can't name all the hadith.
you are it's so known. It's so many hadith that I'm not going to mention them. I mean, just everybody agrees about this. You don't have to worry. Like,
That was-
you understand? But it doesn't mean the fact that you say everybody agrees about this. You say this is where
My ijma.
you call it. You don't call it ijma'. You call it, say, we don't know anyone.
No doubt.
Yeah, we don't know anyone who says something different. That Dhuhr or Asr or Maghrib, but so many the hadith that the Prophet used to pray. Sometimes when there are so many hadith, when someone tells you where
Everywhere.
tell me the dalil, yeah, then you can't find it. No, it's this. Like I can't find many now. Like in Bukhari, for example, huh? the hadith of Ibn Mas'ud that the Prophet prayed Dhuhr and Asr. Huh? Dhuhr or Asr, 2 prayers. Dhuhr, like 2 rak'ah. And then he was reminded, and then he continued, and he prayed 2 rak'ah. There is so many, I mean, you understand? But because of the so many, they are not,
Difficult to locate.
it's not, there is no hadith that says Asr is 4 rak'ah, Maghrib is 3 rak'ah, Fajr is, you understand? But they mention them in,
Sections.
yeah, they are talking about something else, but yeah, and then they mention this, you understand? So,
They come in different parts.
yeah, many hadith that the Prophet, when he traveled, he used to pray. Like the Prophet prayed in Medina, huh? In Medina without fear, without any trouble, huh? Without any problem. 7 and 8, huh? 7 rak'ah and 8 rak'ah. He prayed Dhuhr 4 rak'ah and Asr 4 rak'ah. This is, and then he explained Dhuhr 4 rak'ah and Asr 4 rak'ah. He didn't shorten his prayer, but he gathered between them. You understand? There are so many hadith like this. Like, but then this is always, like when someone asks you a question like this, and people always resort to say, this is ijma'. There is no need to talk about. He says all this, there is no different opinion between the ummah in the past or in this time. As for the traveler, for Dhuhr and Asr and Maghrib, they are 2 rak'ah. For the traveler who is in fear, if he can pray 2 rak'ah, or he can pray 1 rak'ah. He said there is different opinion here, except for the traveler. So the traveler can pray 2 rak'ah. He said, as for the prayer of fear, there is different opinions. The prayer of fear is easy, yeah, but people, depends on the hadith. There are some hadith that some people understand in a different way. He says also, the travel and timing, how long before he can start, how many days, like, he can shorten the prayer, and the distance as well. He said there is different opinions regarding this. And also, is it obligation to pray? Is it obligation to pray, shorten the prayer or not? Is it an obligation to shorten the prayer, or just a choice for the person to shorten? He says all this, there is different opinion. But the fact that the prayers are 5 every day, the fact that these prayers is 2 rak'ah for Fajr during travel and during residency, 3 for Maghrib, travel and residency, and 4 for Maghrib, Isha, and for Dhuhr, Asr, and Isha during residency, and 2 during the travel. This is something that we don't know. We have never heard of someone saying something different. But the number of hadith that you can gather from the books that proves that these prayers are 2 and 3 and 4. These are so many hadith. No hadith directly says this, but the number of hadith that says that this is how the Prophet used to pray them all the time. Yes.
Even there's no one, like even the Shia, even though they combine the prayer,
Mm.
they still do 4, 3. They still do the same as that from what you know.
Yes, yeah. Even the Shia, the Khawarij, there is no group who says something different.
Different numbers.
Yes,
Some
except
put
for
it
these
together.
who have the different prophets
Okay.
who claim to be Muslim, such Qadianis, and but all the other groups agree about this. This is something that happened, but it happened. It's agreed by the proofs.
Okay.
I mean, people can change. If it wasn't for so many evidence clear, people could have changed it. The way the adhan have changed so many times. I mean, the adhan, some people will say 5 prayers a day, every day. How can this change? Who will change it? Like at the time of Prophet, they were praying, and someone come and change it. How can someone change something that happens 5 times a day? How did the adhan in Mecca change when there is the adhan 5 times a day? I mean, Mecca, the adhan have never stopped in Mecca. But someone comes Hanafi, and then he will do the adhan of the Hanaf. You see, Haram. Was it always people praying the same way? When the Wahhabis took over, it is the Wahhabi way. But before the Wahhabis, it was Hanafi way. When the Uthmanis.
What is Hanafi? What is Hanafi?
Now the Ahnaf, when they do the adhan, they say the same adhan as the Hanbalis. What they do, the iqama, they do it this way. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Just like the adhan. The Malikis, when they were controlling the haram at one point before the Qaramita, the Malikis don't do the adhan that way. The Malikis do the adhan like this: Allahu Akbar, one time, not twice, not Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Yeah, and then the Imam will say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, without people listening, without shouting, just lowly. People next to him will hear it, but people who are, he will not do it as adhan. And then he will say it again, loudly, the way we do in Algeria. You see in Algeria when they do the adhan, it's only to Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. It's not Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. You remember this? No? Oh, you don't know this? You forgot. You didn't go to the mosque then.
You just said Imam. The Imam says thing. You mean the Mu'adhin?
The Mu'adhin, I mean.
Okay, you said the Imam. I was shocked. I thought you said the Mu'adhin says Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. Then the Imam says, that's what you said.
Okay.
So they say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, loudly, then they say, then they.
La, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
It's loud.
This is loud. This is hadith in Muslim. This is how the Malikis do it. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Rasulullah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Then ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, and continue the adhan in the normal way. So this is how they do it in all Algeria before. And this is the strongest hadith. This is the hadith in Muslim. And the Algeria, they changed it today to the hadith which is weak, and which is not in Muslim anyway, just because that's what happens in Saudi. So in Algeria, these new Salafis, the religion is what they even don't know that what Malik says is the strongest here, because
What is the new one now?
the new one is what they do here, what you hear here, the adhan that they do in Britain, for example. This is the adhan of the Ahnaf and the Shafi'is and the Hanbalis.
This is wrong. Right.
No, the adhan here, what is wrong here is that they don't do the Imam, the Mu'adhin doesn't stop and say Allahu Akbar, slowly before him say it loudly. Malik, the adhan in Algeria, is one thing missing, is at the beginning they should say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar 4 times. But the hadith, the way it is in Muslim, it says Allahu Akbar only twice. You understand? It should be 4 times, because different narrations of Muslims, the famous narration of Muslim is 2 times only. But whether the sub-narrator of Muslim said it, or Muslim himself said it, another trustworthy person said it's 4, so we take the extra.
Is it Muwatta Malik as well?
What?
The hadith?
No, it isn't. But it is from Malik. Malik narrated that hadith. But not every hadith is in Muwatta.
Okay.
You understand
It's
this?
the same way you just say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah quietly, then you say it again loud.
Yeah. You say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah quietly, and then you say it loudly
If
later.
being a mu'adhin, I can do the same thing, but then have a little gap, say it quietly, then do it loud.
Yes.
No,
This is what we do here. When I do the adhan, always between Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, I keep quiet for sometimes. That is because I am saying it. In Algeria, for example, we do it loud. The person next to you can hear it. But here we don't want to trouble people. to have trouble with people.
No, Allah Akbar times 2.
Huh?
And then times 2 and times 4. What's the difference there?
No, the time 4 is the correct one. But the Malikis do it 2 times. Just Allahu Akbar, 1 time.
This is a Muslim, you see that?
This hadith is in Muslim. The other hadith that people refer to, the other adhan, is the adhan of, they call it the adhan of Bilal. The adhan of Bilal really, we don't know how is the adhan of Bilal. The adhan of Bilal should not be different from the adhan of Abi Mahdura. Because this, we know the adhan from Abu Mahdura. He said, the Prophet taught me this adhan.
The one that learned in the dream.
No. That is not the dream. That is when he went to Mecca, he taught this man to do the adhan. And this man was the muaddin of Mecca. But then there is hadith da'if that says that Bilal used to do the adhan in Medina before that, long before that. You understand?
Before.
The first adhan ever, the first muaddin ever, who was it? Bilal.
Yeah.
We know that from hadith, clear. How was he doing the adhan? Allahu A'lam. Because the hadith that says Bilal and the adhan and the sleeping and the dream, this hadith is weak.
The one where the other, it wasn't Bilal that dreamt it, someone else dreamt it.
Someone else, Abdullah ibn Zayd.
Told the Rasul.
And then he told the Prophet, and the Prophet said,
Told Bilal.
yes, but that hadith is the narration of Muhammad ibn Ishaq.
Sweet.
Muhammad ibn Ishaq is weak. And even this hadith, I mean, the people who say it's sahih, still, they don't say it's the best hadith anyway. I mean, it is not in Bukhari and Muslim. You can see why. The hadith of the adhan of Abu Mahdura is in Muslim. So, people assume, they took from the hadith da'if, that the hadith of Bilal is different from hadith of Abu Mahdura.
Bilal started doing adhan in Medina.
Bilal started the adhan in Medina, at the beginning when they went to Medina.
Yeah. When they were to
Yes, the hadith of Ibn Umar, which is in Sahih Bukhari, it says like this. It doesn't mention any dream, anything. They say they were sitting, they were having discussion. Some of them said they were talking because all the time they wait for the prayer
in Mecca,
when they were in Medina.
in Medina.
In Medina, when they arrived first to Medina,
What about in Mecca? What did they
they were doing the same thing, but there was no adhan.
There was no adhan.
Yes, what they do, they just tell each other, okay, it's time of prayer. They just look at the time and there is no adhan. They just look, check, tell each other. And then in Medina, they gathered and they started discussing, what should we do? And some of them say, we have to just lit fire, big fire every time. Some of them said, no, we just take a bell or something. Yeah. So, and then the hadith of Ibn Umar, which is in Bukhari, say the Prophet told Bilal, stand up Bilal, do the adhan. Like stand up, do adhan, and he explained to him the adhan. Doesn't mention any dreams, any stories, anything.
Must have tell him how to
Yeah, of course. Say to do the adhan, and he told him the adhan. Now, some people will say this doesn't negate the story of the dream, but of course it will not. It doesn't. It might be any stories how the Prophet told him to do the adhan, but you take it from hadith sahih, not from Muhammad bin Ishaq.
And in this hadith, is that way he tells him how to do it.
Yes,
And this is the way that the Saudis do it.
this is how the majority do it. They took it from this hadith.
And And in this one he says Allah the whole time. He didn't say quietly.
Yes, directly.
Okay.
Shafi'i, for example, says it's weird that the adhan has been done 5 times from the time of the Prophet till his time, and still people have different. He says, like in Medina and Mecca, 5 times every day, and people still, like, there is different opinions, like things can change.
He
So
says
there is no strong relation in hadith about how the Prophet told Bilal to do it.
Yeah, but the hadith of Abu Mahdura, it's strong narration. He said, this is how the Prophet told me to do it. And why do you have to think that he told Abu Mahdura a different adhan from the one of Bilal? We just believe that it's the same adhan. So, and forget about the hadith which is weak. That's all. Anyway, we are coming to hadith of the adhan anyway, after not long, maybe I don't know, maybe a month, maybe a year. Khair, inshallah. What time is it? Yeah, we just
Maybe
stopped.
last question.
What's the question?
You remember last time when I asked you about just following the imam, how the imam prays, and if he is sitting, you have to sit.
Yeah.
And I told you if you go there and you see imam sleeping, then you
Lying
told-
down.
Then you told me maybe if he's sleeping, I will stand.
Yeah.
In this case, I asked someone, and he told me they happened to him in this case, and they went to a sheikh, the imam, and he was sick. And he told me when he was sleeping, and they prayed, but they sat. He told them when he's sleeping, this is a position of sitting. It's not sleeping. So you take it as
he must have had the bed, the button that makes the bed go like that.
it's not even about if you put a pillow like say, something like that. It's like this position.
Well,
is
he
like-
was sleeping and he told them this. Why did he get it from?
He told me this is position. It's like sitting position. It's not.
Who?
It's not sleeping position.
Yeah, he said this
Maybe
is
the Arabic
a
language.
sitting position.
So they sat. They didn't sleep. Or
Okay,
They
why?
didn't stand.
Okay, where did he get this from?
I don't know. They said.
What do you
we
mean
prayed. We prayed with him. He was the imam, and
Yeah,
we
the
followed
imam. The
sat.
imam is to be followed.
Yes.
Now this person is lying down.
I don't
If-
think
What
he's
is lying down?
Huh?
He said lying down is this is sitting.
this-
It is a sitting position.
No, it isn't.
What about this?
Don't be doing
What about
this.
this? This is sitting, isn't it?
It's a sitting.
Am I sitting now?
If you put, they might put two pillows. If it's like this, yes. like
Yeah,
this.
if he is
Is he
sitting, he is sitting. If
Is
he
he sitting or-
look, he is sitting that way. Yeah,
So-
but we are talking about now if he is lying down. I didn't say if he is sitting or
Oh, okay.
when he is lying down. He is lying down.
Yeah, when he's lying down, he's lying
Yes.
down.
So the lying down is not. You are telling me that he said, if
That's
if
what he told me.
yeah, if someone is the imam is lying down, then you have to sit. Where did he get this from? Because lying down is not sitting.
Yeah.
Because the Prophet said,
But he told me if he's lying down, you would stand.
I will stand up
Yes.
because
There's no evidence.
because the,
something different.
because no yeah I will do something different. It's an obligation for everybody to pray while standing
Unless-
in jama'ah in fard prayer. It's an obligation to, and lying down is not sitting. Look, the hadith says, hadith of Imran ibn Husayn, which is in Bukhari, he says, صلي قائما, pray while standing. فإن لم تستطع فقاعدا. If you can't, then while sitting. فإن لم تستطع فعلى جنب, then on your side, like lying down. So that is 3 different positions. You don't tell me lying is position of sitting. So it is not position of sitting. And then the Prophet said, if the imam is standing, stand up. If the imam is sitting, sit down. He didn't say if he is lying down, lie down. You understand? So if he is sitting, I will sit. If he is standing, I will stand. If he is lying down, what I am going to do? Hadith.
Lying down is lying flat.
Yes. If he is lying down, what shall I do?
the-
I have to stand up because I have to stand up all the time. Unless I can't, I will sit. The Prophet said, stand. If you can't, sit down. if you can't, lie. Now, I can't stand up, and the imam, my imam, is not sitting, so I can't sit with him. This is a permission. When he is sitting, I have to sit with him. You understand? So, since I am not going to sit here because I am neither incapable of standing, neither the imam is sitting. So what I have to do? Stand up. If someone says no, you have to follow the imam, I say yeah, that is another opinion possible, is to lie down with him, because imam. If someone says that he is imam and you have to follow him, so we will. If he says lie down with him, I say that is possible. But the person who says you have to sit down, this person has no proof whatsoever. What is your proof?
No, maybe he wasn't lying flat.
No, I'm not talking now. Okay, so he was sitting.
Okay, so
I'm not
that position
talking.
is sitting.
Okay, we are not talking about sitting. We are talking about when he is. You asked me a question. You said, "What if the imam is lying down?" I'm not talking now about sitting, or if he is sitting, that is sitting.
No, what we know. So what that position called is maybe sitting.
No, if he told them, "I am sitting," if he was sitting, yeah, but if you are lying down like this, or if you are lying down with your head high little bit because you have pillow, that is how people lie down anyway, with their heads up on the pillow. People sleep on a pillow.
Flat.
Yeah, you understand?
Yeah.
So that is sleeping.
So that's sleeping.
That is lying down. Yeah,
That's not sitting.
that is not sitting.
This is
That is
Because
when
of
you
the weight
go
on
when
your
you put
back.
something under your head, you are lying down.
So how when you guys you see these beds in hospital,
Yeah.
you can lift
Yeah.
your back. So when the position is sitting, when your back is flat,
I think when you put your weight on your
No, just
not
I want
your-
to-
When you are not lying on your back, or when you are not on your like this, because sitting is now you are referring to the people. What is sitting? What is? That's not the Sharia. No. This is definitely lying down.
this line.
Yeah.
So if they lift
This
they
is
lift-
sitting.
You see, they can lift this. You see, but
Yes.
So when you know this imam is sitting, no, he's not lying down.
Yeah.
Even his back is on the.
Would you call
On the bed.
you
It's
call
like
it
this.
sitting now? Yeah?
I would call that sitting down.
Because you're not really lying, are you? You're not relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
would
think
call
if you
that
sit-
sitting down.
You see, you know your backside. Your backside. If you put your weight, you're putting any weight on your backside, then you're gonna be sitting. If you don't, then you're not. On your back.
But we are not talking now about the question of
Sitting.
how to sit or
I
how to
understand you're
stand up. Huh? We are saying if he is lying down, then there is no proof to say that
sit.
you can't sit. And there is no proof to say that you can lie down. The hadith says that if he is standing, you stand. If he is sitting, you sit. But it doesn't say if he is lying down, you sit. Or you lie down. So what you do,
You stand.
you stand up. If he is lying down.
Where is that hadith again?
Bukhari, hadith Imran bin Husayn. I think it's clear.
There's only two opinions, basically.
Only two. No, there's not.
Two opinions, not third one. The opinion that says if he is lying down, you sit, that is invalid. This has no proof. But the opinion that says if he is lying down, you lie down, because he will say he is imam and you have to follow him. You understand?
If they might go with this. This is also strong.
Yeah, I mean this is you can discuss it. But the one who says if I am lying down, you sit, that it's not
There's no discussion.
it's not to be discussed. It's invalid.
There's who disagrees with this? Or which madhab?
No, the majority say if the imam is if the imam is sitting down, you have to stand up. The four madhahib actually,
So,
except the Zahiris.
Why?
what do you get?
Huh? They say the last prayer that the Prophet prayed,
You're sitting.
he was sitting, and the Sahaba were standing behind him.
Or ijma, yeah. It's the
You see, when Abu Bakr started prayer, and the Prophet came and sat next to him, and Abu Bakr was standing next to him.
But who's leading?
It was the Prophet leading.
Oh, he was holding him.
No. What happened? Abu Bakr started the prayer. People were praying behind him,
Yeah.
and then the Prophet felt better they brought him, they put him next to the Abu Bakr.
On the left side.
Yes, next to Abu, so Abu Bakr on the left of Abu Bakr. So Abu Bakr became here
The follower.
the follower of the Prophet.
How comes he started prayer then?
Hmm?
How comes he can start prayer and someone will
Can you
continue?
change
Yeah, you can. You can. I mean, the prayer is not like people.
They make it rigid.
Like if
Like
you do
restricted.
something in the prayer, oh, the
Salah.
Prophet was moving in the prayer, was carrying.
No. This, understandable. But you start in prayer and somebody
Yeah.
else. Can I?
Yeah, you start. I pray 2 rak'ah, and then you come. You are the imam of the place. You come. You start your prayer. You pray 2 rak'ah. I pray 2 rak'ah with you. You understand? When you continue, I will sit down, not pray. Abu Bakr started the prayer, and then the Prophet came, and he completed the prayer. One time,
There's one hadith where he told him to
but told him to continue, but Abu Bakr refused to continue. Yeah, and then he prayed because Abu Bakr here started the prayer, and the imam came, the real imam
He
came.
was there, but he just felt well enough.
No.
He was
That is
home.
another. This is the last prayer when he sat down.
Oh.
Another time he was doing something. He came. He found the people praying, and he went to the front row. Abu Bakr felt that something is going on. He turned, looked at him, saw him. He went back. The Prophet went out in the front.
He turned while praying.
Yeah, because people say, no, you can turn in prayer if you hear this people saying Subhanallah and you don't know what's going on.
Oh.
The Prophet said, if من نابه في شيء في صلاته شيء, if during the prayer something happens, like you feel something going on, فليسبح الرجال, then the man should do tasbih. وليصفق النساء, women should clap their hands. He said, فإنه إذا سبح, then because the person when he does tasbih, when he says Subhanallah, التفت إليه, the person he
Comes away.
looks at him, should look, turn at him.
The imam can look at him. Yeah.
Yeah, turns at him.
Imam can
Yeah, like if I know what's going on,
Then there's no need.
iltifat is not to turn with your body. Iltifat also is to turn your attention to someone. Like I am something and then I turn. This is iltifat in Arabic language. You can turn your attention to someone, turn your body to someone. Now, if someone says Subhanallah, I will stop what I am doing or think put my attention. Why is he saying Subhanallah? If I understand why, I say understand, okay, I just missed tashahhud, for example. I stood up, oh, I remember this, that's fine. I continue my prayer and remember
What about if you don't know what's going on?
what's going on, you look at them.
What about if they can't converse with you? They can't tell you. Because you saying if you know.
Yeah.
And then you think okay. Or even if you turn around and you look at them, you think.
Well,
What did I
if
miss?
they are intelligent enough, they try to make signs to me to explain what's going on.
But maybe it could be from the third row, fourth row. You can't see nothing. If
I mean, if someone, only the people on the third row, the first row and the second row don't know what's going on, then definitely the third row are wrong. I mean, all the people in the first row.
No, there's something.
No,
There's
you
something.
can't say
Huh?
No, there's something. Like I don't
You
know.
can't say that.
Huh?
Maybe they're stupid, the ones in the first and second row. You
Yeah.
can't say what
What?
you're saying.
Anyway,
there's an emergency.
in
what I
all
would say from the
cases,
third row, fourth
yeah.
row, that's it.
all emergencies, the imam was going to deal with it, they have to call 999.
Yeah, Allah.
No, but if they spoke in the salah, what I'm trying to get to, if they spoke in the salah,
They can't speak in the salah. What they do is they have to do any kind of, they have to show,
could they draw a picture?
they have to make some signs to you can understand. If they don't, what you do is you go and continue your prayer. Sometimes talking in the prayer, if really necessary, you can talk in the prayer, because the Prophet spoke in the prayer.
Can I ask you a question? This is a weird scenario. But let's say they writ something. They're not signed, they wrote on a paper.
Yeah, that is not talking.
That's fine.
Alhamdulillah.
Hmm?
When you sneeze,
Yeah.
you can say that, right?
You say Alhamdulillah when you sneeze. There is hadith that a man behind the Prophet sneezed and said Alhamdulillah ya Rabb, Alhamdulillah hamdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fih. No, you don't.
You don't know.
Because he is talking, he is doing tasbih in prayer. You say Yarhamuka Allah, you have spoken to him. There is hadith in Muslim clearly, a man said Alhamdulillah. Someone told him Yarhamuka Allah, and then people started looking at him. Hmm?
There's always a question I want to ask. If yes, you pray and one behind you, one beside you, he had a heart attack or something and he fell.
Yeah.
Can you tell the imam to stop the